What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Phantom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are at the season 2 finale of The Wheel of Time. Woo! Now we can move on to season 3, and Anthony can stop bugging us because it's good. But let's talk about the season 2 finale because I have things to say. I
Okay,
think
before we get started,
uh
hi guys. Hi guys, my name is Mike. I am now the charter member of the Matt Cawthon fan club. I will no longer be saying anything else bad about him. That motherfucker is a badass, and I am glad we're here. And I also, strictly for Hanako, I am Rand's okay with me now. I'm on the train now. It's fine. Fine. He got me, okay? He got me. Fine.
Mike,
Jeez.
I'm glad you're on the Mad bandwagon.
I
Like I
am.
said, the fandom for the most part bounces between Nynaeve and Matt for favorite characters. But someone reminded me recently that in at first, like the first handful of books, Matt and Nynaeve are like the most hated characters.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay. So they grow to that point.
Yes, they actually get to the point of being the beloved
Okay.
Prince of Ravens and Nynaeve of the Green, Aja.
He definitely he took
Yellow Aja.
for it to happen here. So
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I watched today was the maybe fourth or fifth time I've watched this episode. And every single time when it gets to Matt's moment, I am like ugly crying at the screen. I'm like, I already know what's about to happen. I've seen this before. Why am I still so emotional? And it's because it was so fucking overdue for Matt.
mm,
And I'm so glad he had his moment. But we're gonna get to that part because that's all the way down towards the bottom. Let's bring it back and rewind to the beginning. Because Anthony, I need you to explain this opening scene for us with Luz and Ishamael and the rest of the chosen and them putting him in the prison. Because I think I kind of sort of understand what's going on. Like, obviously, at this point, Luz is the dragon. He has, I guess, apparently turned most of his people, most of his friends, including Lanfear and Ishamael, to the dark. And instead of killing Ishamael, he's going to leave him in this prison in a semi-conscious state for thousands of years because he knows this man wants to die. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to be a little asshole about this right now.
Okay. Let's back up.
Okay.
Back up. The Forsaken, or those Aes Sedai who turn to the dark, they turn to the dark on their own.
Okay.
No one turned them to the dark.
Okay.
okay.
Okay. They all had their reasons. Some of them having to do with jealousy of Luz Theron. Some of them just because they wanted power. So, but they all had their reasons. They all turned. He didn't turn any of
Okay.
them. Okay. So what you're seeing is it is slightly different from the book. Um, I said I was going to try to get away from the book, going forward, talking about this series, but since you asked,
Mm-hmm. And like I
it
said,
is
for
it's
informational purposes.
for informational purpose.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, when Luz Theron took the 100 companions, they were all male Aes Sedai who went with him to seal the bore where of the Dark One's prison.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, all the Forsaken were there too, maybe to stop him. Um, they all got sealed away when he closed the prison. It
Okay.
was not perfect because they needed to do with the women and the women. We saw was it the last episode where Luz was talking to Letra Sedai and she was like, yeah, the women are not going to help you.
No, that was like first season.
First season, right.
First
She
season,
said, we're
yeah.
not going to help you do it. So it
Mm-hmm.
was only men, so it was imperfect. And that's
Okay.
when the Dark One tainted the male part of the One Power.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So all of the Forsaken got imprisoned at the same time, except Ishamael. He was halfway in prison,
Mm-hmm.
but he had the ability to come out every 1,000 years or so.
Okay.
and they go through this cycle over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dark One is still able to sort of touch the world through Ishamael.
Okay.
However, it seems like in the series, Luz and her companions hunted down, seemingly, the Forsaken and imprisoned them. Like
Mm.
he caught one in prison, caught one. I guess Ishamael was the last one,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
obviously he's the most powerful of them, so he
Mm-hmm.
probably, saved him for last. Get all the other ones out the way. Because what's the first thing he says? Oh, the others will come and help me. Nah, I already took care of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all the 100 companions versus him. He don't have a shot because they can shield him or whatever.
Okay.
And he imprisoned him as well. It's not really clear how he got out, to start this whole shebang of this series. But I'm gonna just assume it was something similar where, because it was not perfect, maybe by the time they got to him, it didn't really work as well.
Didn't
So
Rand let him out?
he was already out influencing the world,
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah, I
So
still need to go back and rewatch first season, but okay.
yeah, and I'm not even sure. I'm not even clear that the last that last episode, their confrontation wasn't exactly real. It may have been another illusion.
Okay.
Because remember, if skipping ahead at the end when he sees Rand, he says, "Oh, finally in the flesh."
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that what we saw was really an illusion from him,
See,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought when he said,
or maybe they were in Teleron Riyadh and didn't know it.
see, I thought when he said finally in the flesh, I thought he was making a joke about Egwene and Rand actually reuniting in person because he knows that Lanfear took Rand to see Egwene in the dream world. So I
No,
thought he was just being an asshole, being like, "Oh, I guess you guys are finally seeing each other again." Just kind of like digging the knife in a
no, I
little
thought
bit.
I took it to mean he was looking at Rand like, "Oh, finally we meet in the flesh." Because remember, the whole time he's been coming to him in his dreams
Mm. Okay.
in season one. He never
Okay.
actually saw him. So I'm thinking even that last sequence was not necessarily illusion, but maybe he had them in Teleron Riyadh and they didn't know it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because remember, he spent a lot of the episodes showing Rand the possibilities.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we know he's a master of illusion as well. So
Yeah.
how he
Yeah,
got
he's like
Matt
he's like Loki level. Like, damn.
right. Matt just knew he was there and thought he was gonna hit him with the spear, and he wasn't.
All I heard was, "Are you never going to not fall for that?" Like in Avengers, I was like, "All right, this motherfucker."
He like, you
Yeah.
should have seen that. How do you not see that? Yeah. Um, what is unclear though, because of the way they're doing it, like how he had all the seals of each of the other Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they in the book seals were used. They were about palm-sized seals
Mm-hmm.
that were used to seal the Dark One's prison. They didn't have their own individual seals,
Okay.
so I don't know. I don't know how they're. I don't know. I'm sort of confused about what they're gonna do or how they're gonna do the Dark One's prison because there's something that has to be done later
Mm-hmm.
to fix it,
Okay.
and I'm not sure how this is gonna work. So, I mean, I'm okay with them doing it. It's just that I need them to explain it because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But that's probably
Yeah.
because of what I know from the books.
Okay.
But to answer your question, yeah, that was 100 companions sealing a Forsaken away, but we don't see how they sealed away the Dark One.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know how they did that. So maybe
Okay.
they'll enlighten us later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Does that
Oh,
make sense? Does that
yes.
answer your question? Is what's important.
Yes. and no, but I think the no part is because if we look at the way that they've kind of revealed things from like 1,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago to now, they always do it towards the end of the season. So we got a little bit of it in the first season. We got this little bit in the second season. So I'm pretty sure most of the questions that I have about the earlier part or the last dragon, they'll probably explain it more in season 3. I don't know what season 3 will cover, but I'm sure we'll probably, especially now that we know that the Forsaken have been released, I'm thinking we'll probably get a little bit more of that background.
Yeah, because the only way I can rationalize it is the Dark One somehow weakened Ishamael's seal. Ishamael was using the little influence he had to get into Rand's dreams to guide him to his seal and have him break it so he could be free completely. That's the only way I can make it work in my head.
Okay.
And that's why we don't, that's why we, in the end, we see, in the flesh, because Rand broke the seal and he was able to escape.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's the only way it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. We got a lot to talk about with the Two Rivers folks. So we'll go into that a little bit later. I want to talk about the White Cloaks and their invasion of Falme, because it's so strange, because on the one hand, I don't like the White Cloaks because of what happened with season 1, because of Child Valda. I just don't like the White Cloaks. I think they're a real sketchy group. And of course, they're very sketchy. And you know me, and we've done enough shows and talked about enough fantasy things. Anytime that you have an order that is doing things because of a religion or because of a belief,
i.e. the Red Cloaks.
Yes. Yeah. Red cloaks, white cloaks, gray cloaks, green cloaks, whatever you want to call them. Anytime you're doing it because of a so-called religion, and part of your mission is to kind of wipe out other people who don't, I have a problem with that. So I have a problem with the White Cloaks. They really had me kind of sort of conflicted in this episode, because I'm like, okay, they're invading Falme. They're trying to get the Seanchan out. I have no problem with this. It's good. I can kind of sort of get down with that, except for the fact that Child Valda is there, and except for the fact that motherfucker who killed Hopper. Until that happened, I was cool. Once that happened, I was like, Perrin, go kill all of them.
Yeah.
Kill
At
all
that
of
point,
them.
fuck all of y'all. And see, here they go again, giving us characters that are ambiguously likable and unlikable. It's like sometimes you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're not that bad. It's just like, because when we meet the general's son in the episode before last,
Dane Barnhold,
yeah, it's like you meet him and you're like, oh, well, he's probably not that bad. But then we learn he locked up the area, and you're like, he's an asshole. Okay, fine. Then you see him here, and you're like, oh, well, he's still kind of okay. But it's like, no, his dad killed fucking Hopper.
But see, that's his dad. That has nothing to do with him. And even with him in the few episodes before with Avienda, we don't really know what, like, we know that she attacked some of the White Cloaks, and that's probably why he had her locked up. We don't really know. We know she's dangerous. And his character, at least him, he seems to be a decent person. He doesn't like the way Child Valda does his whatever it is that he does. And again, he was nice to Perrin. He seemed okay. I'm not saying he was the greatest. He's not the best.
Gave him a cool nickname.
But
gave him a cool nickname, Two Rivers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of like, even when they were fighting in the streets and he realized that it was Perrin that he saved, he was like, oh, Two Rivers. And they started fighting side by side because they had a common enemy. That whole, the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. I think Perrin was like, okay, I don't like White Cloaks. You all right? But then your daddy killed my companion, but I don't think Perrin, of course, Perrin didn't know that was his father until afterwards. But I don't think he had. I don't think what his dad did is a reflection on him. It's just the white cloaks, I think, in general. That's just kind of like, you could do so much better. But
Yeah,
it's also interesting because you have these two groups. You have the white cloaks and you have the Seanchan. Both of them supposedly have missions having to do with bringing people to the light, but they do it in very different ways.
Yeah.
right.
And both of them are, in a sense, kind of horrible. I mean, I don't know what the other white cloaks do, like you said, with the with what's their last name?
Barhold.
Yes.
Barhold. Yeah.
So like with the father, like you said in the last season, he was basically with the Aes Sedai. He was like, yeah, you know what? They stay out of our way, we stay out of their way. We're just gonna go over here and do our own thing. We're gonna be cool. Child Balder is the one that makes the rest of them look like an asshole.
No
Because
one really likes the questioners are the problem. Valda's group.
yeah,
They're um the extremists.
yeah,
And like every organization
yeah.
like this has extremists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Baldur's baby bird eating ass.
That's just yeah. But you know, it's just interesting because, like I said, you have these two groups that supposedly have the same mission.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, but they go about it two completely different ways, and in some instances, very inhumane ways, i.e., the Seanchan. So it was one of those things where it's kind of like, I want to root for y'all for a little bit, but then I'm going to root over here, and then it's just kind of like, okay, I'm only rooting for my people
It's like,
that are fighting.
it's like what Dane Bornhold's father said. People have gone to the kings and queens of the different countries. They asked for help with the Seanchan, and y'all said no.
Right.
That leaves us.
Mm-hmm.
We are the last line. You want us on that wall. You need us on that
Need
wall.
us on that wall.
Yeah.
And I will say, they was getting their shit done
Mm-hmm.
because they got so close before the Seanchan even realized they were about to be invaded because of the kids with the little things that
Mm-hmm.
But I was laughing because I say this every time I see a battle scene and people are charging and you're supposed to be doing like a surprise attack. Why the hell would you yell at the last second? Just ride your horses into the town and just be done with it. You're telling them that you're coming.
But back to the White Cloaks, there in the book there are some decent ones for the most part.
Okay.
There are some decent ones. So I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we discussed that in the first season too, because of the questioners and Child Valda. It's like Child Valda is one of the kind of extremes, kind of like when we were discussing Cursed. And it was what's his name? Father, I can't think of his name, but he was also like the extreme, like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna hunt down the Fae and we're gonna kill them, all in the name of religion. Yay! Yeah, no. But
I mean, the White Cloaks still put children in harm's way by having them with the sensors making that fog for them to hide behind. I'm like,
yeah, but I guess they figure. I mean, if you're gonna have children and you're gonna be trying to train them for whatever it is that your group does in particular, I guess that's probably the safer way to have them participate, because they could have stuck some swords in their hands and said, "Hey, go out on the front lines."
We're
Ultra Boys forward!
We're gonna lower visibility and send 10,000 charging horses behind you. Okay,
Right.
yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure.
I'm just
Stay out
saying,
of
it's
harm's
lesser of two
way.
evils.
Stay out of harm's way.
Put the
Don't get run
Ultra
over.
Boy infantry up there. Like, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
don't let them get run over by. Watch the horses. Mind the horses. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
I can't see for all this fog. Oops, sorry, lad.
Let me tell you, the fact that this man continuously evades death bothers me so much.
Which
Because
Valda.
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
For
you
real.
get attacked
Like,
by
did
the
he just die
wolves
already?
and you live. Egwene stabs you in the neck and you live. You get attacked by another wolf in this episode and you live. Egwene sees you from the tower, and that is what makes her decide to attack, because she was like, I'm not attacking. There's people down there. Oh, white cloaks, bet. Boom. And he's still alive. It bothers me so much. I just want this man to die.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna say is, yep, you're just gonna get a lot of Alda.
You
you
have to do that to me,
you
Anthony.
haven't even scratched the surface.
You could have let me hold on to my hope.
Damn it.
You don't even know half of it.
Shit.
Okay. But going back to this invasion. So of course, like I said, the white cloaks. I was about to say the white folks. The white folks.
The white folks.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I mean,
It's been
Put
a
some
long
pointy
month.
hats
Yeah,
on
I'm
them
so sorry.
and call it a day.
It's been a long month. So the white cloaks they attack Falme, and of course now the Suldam and the Damani are being brought to the front to fight. And Rena goes to Egwene and she tells her this. She was like, Suldam and Damani are being called to the tower to help defend the city. She said, your behavior in this cell is one thing, but if you disobey me in the middle of a fight, then we discipline you by cutting out your tongue. And she tells Egwene to stand, and she just basically looking at her like, no, I'm not gonna stand. And she reaches her knife out into Egwene's mouth, and she forces her to stand up. And Egwene, even though she has a knife at her tongue, she's still looking at her defiantly. And Rena pulls the knife out. She puts the little gag in her mouth and she turns her around and says, well, maybe this will make you obey. And she cuts Egwene's braid off. I knew in that moment Rena was going to die in this episode.
It was at that moment.
It was at that moment. She fucked up.
Right. First of all, before Mike gets started, get that dirty damn knife out my mouth. Let's just start there.
Let's start there.
Go ahead, Mike.
Man, see, this is the kind of thing where she actually was, I mean, she kind of like at the beginning, she tried to like get her with kindness, be like, okay, I'm gonna let you keep your name, I'm gonna be nice to you, we can be friends, all that stuff. Now that she realizes that Egwene doesn't like her, she's never gonna like her. She's like, yeah, whatever, get the fuck up, let's go.
No. No. I'm gonna correct you. I am going to correct you, because what she did, and we had this conversation in the last episode, she would start the nice stuff, but then here comes that last sentence where she literally backpedals, or she crosses out, negates whatever, all of the nice stuff she says by the one little thing she says at the end. She's been doing this consistently since she and Egwene have been put into a room together. So no, it wasn't she's been nice to her, and now that no, she has been like that since we met her. She just kind of crossed the line with this one, probably because she realized in the last episode, one, Egwene is defiant, but she's found a way to be defiant without it harming her. Mm-hmm. And then, when she came in the last episode, Egwene was braiding her hair, and I think she realized that for Egwene, that's either a symbol of strength, or maybe from where she came from, that's a symbol of status or something. But she realizes that the hair is probably more important to Egwene, because Egwene is probably like, okay, you can cut out my tongue, I'm still gonna be defiant. But she cut her hair off, and it's just kind of like it did something to her. It was like the last piece of you stripping who Egwene is away from her. And at that point, And at that point, you can see Egwene be furious. And not only that, Rand has gotten into the city, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but Rand has gotten into the city and he sees the Soldam and the Damani marching towards the tower. It's one thing for him to see Egwene in a dream and know that she's being held captive, she's being held prisoner, she's in a cell. To see her being paraded with her short hair and that gag in her mouth, did you see the look on Rand's face? Rand was like, I'm about to kill all y'all motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next scene, when we see him, he did exactly that.
Okay, so before
we get to that.
In the book, Rand at this point in the book, he has been training with Lan on becoming a blade master.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows he is pretty good with a sword. And he comes across Turok, another blade master. He's like, oh well, let's see what it takes to be a blade master here in this land.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a really, really good sword fight.
Oh, okay. In this show, Rand was like, I ain't got time for your bullshit. let me make sure order of that shit was so funny to me because I was expecting a good sword fight because the way Turok grabbed his sword and was like, I was like, oh, he about to show y'all some shit. Rand said, nope, fuck you and your mama. Whoop, killed all of them. I was like, y'all made Rand mad. Rand was like, no, y'all didn't just parade my girl with a gag in her mouth and cut her hair and we're not gonna have that.
Yeah, he's like, I got shit to do. Let's do this. Let's go on past it.
Yeah, I would be remiss, and Nick would be upset if I didn't say this was like the Indiana Jones scene.
Yeah, like
yeah,
and gone.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have time for this bullshit.
Not at all. Rand was like, you did this to her. And Turok was like, yeah, let's fight. Rand was like, no.
Given he was a lower level blade master, it still would have been a good fight to see. But
you mean Rand being the low level?
No, well, in the book, they were probably about the same level, low level.
Oh, okay. But see, the way, because I was going to say the way the show makes it seem is like Turok is kind of, I guess, he's the leader. So it just kind of gave the sense that he was I think you also said he was the one who actually was in command of the military.
Yeah, he was the commander.
Yeah, you can't be a commander of the military if you don't know your shit.
Yeah.
At least you're not supposed to.
Well, the whole thing about the Blade Masters is a weird thing too, because you can become a Blade Master by defeating a Blade Master. Okay. That's one way. The other way is to be judged by 5 other Blade Masters unanimously in using the forms.
Okay.
Which that can be manipulated if you have enough money and power. Because even Valda is a Blade Master, but people question how he got to become a Blade Master.
I would too. I question
everything about him. Like, no.
Yes. Because something just ain't right about him. But okay, let's go back to the whole Rand thing and how he gets into Falme. So in the last episode, we know they went through the Waygate to get to Falme. So it's Rand, Lanfear, Moiraine, and Lan.
That's it.
And when they're going through the Waygate, Lanfear is like, you two are being mighty quiet back there. Is that something I should I should be worried about? She's talking to Moiraine and Lan. And then they come up. There's a area where I guess there's supposed to be a Waygate. Moiraine is like, okay, Lanfear, open up the Waygate to Falme. And Lanfear was like, you do it. And she said, Ishamael took my powers from me. And she said, oh, you got a good way with words because I know you got your powers back. I can see the weaves on you. I was like, Moiraine, she's a Forsaken. You really think she don't know you got your powers back?
Right.
But then she tells them that she was like, yeah, okay, so you're gonna go to Falme. When the time comes, raise the banner. And then she literally opens the door, she pushes them through, and then she closes it, leaving just her and Rand in the ways. And she
push them out
channeled.
in the beach. On the beach. It's like, yeah, go get some sun and I'll see you later. Like, goddamn. Like in the middle of like far away from Falme, far away enough from Falme that they could see it and be like, fuck. Like now.
Well,
Well,
at
I
first
think,
they didn't know where they were. At
yeah,
first,
Right. They were
yeah,
like, what the fuck? Yeah,
because
because
they
they
were
were
far enough away. And then I think if we judge the way the Aiel maidens reacted when they got up to Falme, there's not supposed to be water there, right?
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
So that's probably why they
No,
really.
no, they didn't know, they had never seen water like that before.
Mm-hmm.
It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
that there wasn't
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to be water there. They were just like, oh my God, is that water?
Oh, okay. Because I thought somebody made the comment like, "Is that supposed to be there?" or something like that. So I thought
Yeah,
that maybe it was something
no,
something
no,
weird that they had
no.
done
It's
to.
support city.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, I do want to say, again, they show us how powerful the Forsaken are because when we've seen Moiraine and Leandrin open the Waygate, they have to do all this extra stuff with their powers to get it open. And Lanford literally just opens her finger and it comes open.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I also want to point out that Moiraine is of the active Aes Sedai in this world. She's the most powerful.
You think I couldn't figure that out with this episode? Because I was like, if I didn't know how
right.
powerful Moraine was before, you definitely found it out in this
Yeah.
episode.
But that still is pales in comparison to how powerful Lanfear is.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy because I will say this: when Moraine and Lan, after they had their conversation, like they had that much needed conversation when Lan was like, "Look, you need to let me back in, give me this bond back," and she was like, "You still want it after everything I've done?" Especially the way
Who's
I
been
treated
chasing
you.
after you, woman? God damn. You what? Here, put me back in. Wait, you still want to be with? Oh,
I think she actually needed to hear what Lan had to say to her because Lan was basically like, "Look, you can't hurt me anymore. I know, I was upset when you said what you said about us not being equals, but I believe in you. I believe in your mission." I think she needed to hear somebody say that,
that woman is
especially after,
maddening.
huh?
That woman is maddening to me. Like
She is, but also
yeah.
I will say this: she just dealt with a very big betrayal from the other person that she loves. So I can kind of understand her just being like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this alone. And Landon's like, look, I got your back, but I need to have that bond back. I understand. He was like, look, I'm lower on the total pole than you. I get it. I'm okay with that. I understand it. I accept it. And then that's when she told him, she was like, look, the only reason why I was even able to say that to you is because one thing has been true since I met you. You have always been my better. And he's just looking at her like, okay, now that we got that clear, give me the goddamn bond. But I will say this. Once they get the bond, once he gets the bond back, and of course the Seanchan warriors start coming to the beach while she's trying to disarm the Seanchan Damani that are on the sea because they're shielding Rand at this moment.
Oh, but wait, remember, I just wanted to point out she got a stat boost because he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you moving faster now."
that
She's
yes,
like, "Oh, I don't feel like I got 5 buckets on my back." So
right.
she
But
got a stat
also with
boost.
that, he got the stat boost too because when the soldiers start coming, she's like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, you're gonna go do your thing. He's
Yep.
sitting there fighting all of the soldiers. There is an archer up on the
Yeah.
cliffs shooting arrows at Moraine. This motherfucker is plucking the arrows from the air and then stabbing the soldiers. Here come another one. Shroom.
First of
Like,
all,
this is what
I'm,
Anthony was talking about.
I'm a
This is the
land,
land
I'm a
stand
land
stuff.
stand.
Land
He would
stand.
have been able to
Yeah.
do it without.
I openly,
The stat
I
boost.
understand it. I understand, but it was still just
But it was
glorious
still
to
great.
watch
Yes, it was.
because
And first of all, and Mike will point out, I'm sure, that why y'all attacking him one at a time, dumbasses. I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't think it would have made a difference.
That's what everybody does. There's like they think this is like an old Bruce Lee film where Bruce Lee's in the middle of like 50 guys and they keep coming at him one at a time and he's like just beating them off and it's like really pause. Really? It's like y'all need to really just like I mean all together now.
I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to avoid hitting each other in that kind of. I mean, I'm
Well,
just I'm
the
trying to give them
archers
some.
have no
Go three at a
excuse.
time then.
This is
Just
One
like
true,
archer
but
at a
if
time.
if I'm shooting arrows and this motherfucker is plucking the arrows out of the air, then I'm gonna have to try something else because obviously what I'm doing is not working. Like you way up there and you can't even like how how do you even know? Do you hear the arrow whizzing by that like yeah, at this point, if I'm shooting arrows from the cliff and he's catching them and I'm just wasting my time up there, I'm wasting my energy, I'm wasting good arrows. Let me go down to the beach and let me get into the fight and maybe get a lick in or something.
he's like my mama gave me that arrow.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lan was doing his thing.
I'm just saying, but I mean, Lan showed why he is who he is, and it's like that scene was one of this episode had a lot of really good fight scenes there. Like this is one that was one of the more action packed episodes of the whole series. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Up to this point, like it's a lot that we're a couple that we're going to get into, but yeah, this one was pretty fucking badass.
Yeah. Yeah. But Lan was doing his thing, and I was sitting here thinking in my head, I was like, "Yeah, okay, this is why we're Lan stands. Like this episode is exactly why." So I love it. But okay, let's go back a little bit more, a little bit more. I want to go back to let's talk about Nynaeve and Elayne for a minute because
See,
and I already know Mike got some stuff to say. Mike, go ahead, because I know you feeling some things about Nynaeve and this fake Soldam role that she is playing right now.
yeah. I was scared. Like I was like, because she enjoyed that, even though she didn't look like she was enjoying it. She was in. She there were some moments that she was kind of having that she wasn't having fun, but she could feel the power. Like she was like, I feel a sense. She felt like different sensations, like, and she was trying to and like the power. I think she was not necessarily enjoying, but appreciating the power that she had over her. Like she saw her, like had made her kneel before her. It's like I'm looking at it now. It's like
I
and
don't think appreciation really plays into it. Nynaeve was pissed. And I
yeah, she
think
was
that's all it was.
Yeah.
She was just basically like, okay, I'm angry. And not only that, we saw, I mean, we've seen all season, Nynaeve has not been able to channel when she needs to channel. So the fact that she has this cuff on and she can feel the connection between her and the girl, and she's already got this rage about what's going on. I don't think appreciation had anything to do with it. She was just basically like, oh yeah, I feel this bitch in my head and I know exactly what they do to their
yeah,
people. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let her see what it feels like for a moment.
yeah.
I
She
think
said
that's
she had
all
No,
it was.
I don't think Mike meant appreciation in the positive sense, where I just see meant she kind of understood.
yeah.
She
It's like
understood the power that you can have over another person. Is that right,
Mhm.
Mike? I think that's what
yeah,
you.
because she said
Yeah.
she felt a bundle of sensations, and all I have to do is push. And it's like she was just like every time she gripped her hand and made her twist, even though she was ironically begging for her to take it off, which is probably something that
Mhm.
she experienced doing it to someone else. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, how does that feel? Right. But Elaine was like, what the fuck you do you get what you need? And it's like, I mean, they were just, I mean, she was just so in, I mean, not even, not even mean, just ruthless. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not necessarily like being mean. And it's like, even when she was like, if you even try to get help, I
She
promise
said,
you,
I promise you, I
I'll
will
make you
make
curse the
you
first kiss your
curse.
mother gave your father. I'm
Yes.
like, that shit. I was like, that's some poetic shit, but also that's some mean fucking shit, dude.
But you
Like,
know what? I felt every ounce of the
yeah,
hatred she had when she uttered
100%.
that line. And I'm so sorry. I'm here for it. I told you
Yeah,
I don't like the Seanchan. I don't like what they're doing to the women. The fact that she was doing that, I was not bothered at all. I was like, okay, I know this should really bother me, but given, and I think it's also because we see what's going on from the outsider's point of view. So we know what kind of torture Egwene has gone through. We know what they do to the Damani. So we have that insider's knowledge. So when I'm looking at Nynaeve do this to that girl, I was like, oh, how's the weather over there? Yeah.
I
I had
mean,
no
it's just, I
I
problem
mean,
with
just
that.
like I just like the look on Elaine's face. Like, do I need to check on you? Check on your friend Elaine. Check on your friend. See if she all right.
I'm not
You
getting
know
anywhere near
what?
that. I wouldn't get anywhere near Nynaeve when she's like that. I'm like, I'll be across the room, be like, you all right? You okay? Edging towards the door, like, I don't. Even though I don't have one of those necklaces on, I'm like, you are scary as fuck right now.
Yeah, but I think kind of going back to what I said in the last episode, Nynaeve and Elayne, they balance each other out. And there is a time for Elayne and her calmness and her gentleness and her clear-headedness. And then there is a time for Nynaeve's rage. And even though it made Elayne uncomfortable, I think she understood that because they weren't getting anywhere with that girl being nice or just asking questions. This girl's sitting here begging you to take it off. Oh, we can, they're going to take them to the tower, but we can't go to the tower because I don't want them to see me like that. You think her friend wants anybody to see her like that? But y'all didn't have a problem parading her up there.
That's the least. That's the least of her problem.
That is the
Right.
least
About
of your problems right
you
now.
worried about your friend seeing you in this thing. That's the least of your
Right.
problems right now.
Right.
Worry about having a spine after Nynaeve like turns her wrist the wrong way.
Right. Because I was really thinking, I was like, she is really gonna kill this girl. But no,
Mhm.
I mean that wouldn't serve their purpose. But I think she just felt like she needed to get a little bit of it out. And I hate to say it though, why is that the only time that we got to see Nynaeve use her powers? Because again, later on, when she needs to use her powers, she can't do shit.
Yeah,
And it's just
poor
at this
Evelyn.
point,
Like,
it's starting to frustrate me now.
real.
I think I said this before. I think they really had to do it because they showed how powerful she was early.
Mm-hmm.
So they made her block even worse than it is in the books. And I think that's what I was feeling because at first I was like, yeah, I don't remember her having a block. It just wasn't as bad.
Okay.
Okay.
And it yeah, she could only tell when she was either angry, upset, or really emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's like even when she's angry, upset, and emotional, she still can't channel.
Right.
And
Well,
like you made it worse than it
I
is in the book.
think
And because you made it and you reinforce it every week. The most powerful
powerful
channeler
handler
we've
in
seen in
last
a
thousand
thousand
years.
years, blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And so they had to nerf her because if she could just do anything, it would be more than what Moiraine could do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I and I
and
and
it's
I
like,
get
and where
that.
do you
Yeah.
go from there? It's like, and
Yeah.
it's like you can't just have you already gave had her have a moment where she's like incredibly fucking powerful. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what else can she do without? And you can't have her do it without training. You just have her just
And
have
I'm not
power
looking
out of
for her to
nowhere.
do. I'm not looking for and I'm not looking for her to show like this big, enormous display of power. But
Just
can you at least get the girl's arrow out of her leg without
No,
having to push that motherfucker through?
No, I get it. Yeah, that shit was like, motherfucker. Like Evelyn, she's actually like really like dedicated. Other than that, been like, no, heal me. No, figure that shit out. Don't push that shit through.
I would
What's
have been
wrong with
like, can you break off the tip first and then pull it
Yeah. I
through?
would think as a
also
wisdom,
too?
she would know that that's like basic one, unless the arrow's like extremely hard. I mean,
And I
basic,
was wondering that. I was like, is
yeah.
the arrow made
It's
of
basically you
metal
break
or
it,
something?
you just break it and pull it out. I don't understand. I don't
I mean,
understand that.
the only thing I can think of as far as a reason why she didn't do it that way is because if you break it off and it's not a clean break, there's a possibility of leaving splinters in the flesh.
But that's why you don't break it off on the inside. You break it on the outside.
No, but she still
Or
would
you
have to
break
pull
that,
it
you
through.
break the okay.
You see what I'm saying? If it's not a clean break, you still got to pull part of it through the flesh. And if it's jagged on the edge and it's coming through the flesh, splinters might pull off of it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
she could get like feather parts off of it
Well,
in there too.
well, I mean, they were in the middle
What's
of being
worse?
attacked, so I mean, I'll give her that leeway. But I'm just like, dude, can you at least just do something? And then here's the other question: could Elayne not do that for herself? Like, can
No, you cannot heal yourself.
okay, okay,
Moraine established that in season one.
okay. I couldn't remember if it was just because Moraine had Trolloc poison in her wound. So I didn't know if it was just because of the
Mm-mm.
Trolloc poison. They just can't do that to themselves.
Yeah,
But
you
no,
can't heal yourself.
even not healing herself, she couldn't use the power to get the arrow out of her own leg. Technically speaking, that's not healing herself.
Yeah, she could have, but what would have been the difference?
Yeah, I guess they just needed to show us that Nynaeve still can't do shit right now. I mean, and I guess also to establish, once they did get the arrow out, Elayne was like, "Just leave me here. I'll slow you down." She was like, "No, because we don't even know if I can channel when I get there. Whatever Egwene needs, she's gonna need you." So I guess it was also to kind of establish that, like, Nynaeve's acceptance of, okay, Elayne is as important to this whole thing as I could be, or as Perrin is, or whatever. I think it was just to establish that Elayne is a part of this group now. But still, I was like,
Or
come
she's
on.
like, no, I still can't do anything. I need you. No, you have to come.
Yeah,
Because
well, she already bonded with Nani with Elaine with Egwene, so now she has to have
With
a bonding
Nynaeve.
moment with Nani.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like I said, and I think we
Oh,
all said this, we like the dynamic between the two of them. And I
yeah,
think that was
yeah.
just kind of the further establish it. But
and
I need Nynaeve to come
and
out
we
of it.
also we also had to have the traditional key light moment with Elaine standing over Rand. Who are you?
Well,
And oh, I'm Elaine.
I was like, what are y'all doing with that? Are y'all trying to make it seem like, oh, this is my angel? I was like, because what y'all not about to do is make this a love triangle. This ain't finna work.
Halo,
We
Halo.
got the triangle enough going on right now. And I see Anthony look with his eyes over to the side, sipping his Coke. So I'm just gonna ignore that look on your face right now because I'm not going there. And I'm ignoring that laugh and that smile you have because I'm not going there. We have a love triangle going on. We don't need to add another person to it. Look at his face, Mike. Look at his
No,
face.
I know because I'm sick of just creating trio tris two. It's like you got everything got to be in threes. Like damn, yeah, just two people just enjoy themselves. Like you ain't gotta have it where. But yeah, I was like, I saw that too, and I was like, interesting. Like what the
Mm,
hell's going on here? Is it a tris or is it just like rivals? I mean, it's like
whatever it is, we don't need to have it.
I ain't trying to have all that. No.
No. Okay. Let's go talk.
Okay, let's go. Wait. To Patton Fane's bitch ass.
Yeah, let's talk about this motherfucker.
This was oddly satisfying to me because He set the dagger down for him. He's like, "Yeah, I know you want it. Go ahead and get it. No, it's cool. I'll just wait outside. I'll leave you two alone." Then then I was like,
Oh,
"Okay." Shout
pause.
out to Matt for being smart, being smarter than the average. And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put it down here. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna tie it." Like,
Matt
I
was
ain't
like,
gonna.
y'all gonna stop thinking I'm stupid.
He's much smarter than people give
Right.
him credit for.
Really
Right.
is.
Matt was like, no, it's one of those things where it's fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Matt was like, I've had history with this dagger. I know what this dagger does. This dagger is not good for me. He was like, nope, you know what? I am on my 6th month of sobriety. Y'all aren't about to get me. No.
I just earned my 6-month medallion. So
Exactly.
no.
Right.
I got my chip right here, motherfucker. I'm not giving this shit back up.
And the thing that got me was when Pat and Fane comes in to talk to Matt. He's like, "Oh yeah, my best and brokest customer and blah blah blah." He's saying all this stuff. He was like, "You know, you want to touch this dagger and blah blah blah." He walks out the door and says, "You in this room with this dagger?" He was like, "Yeah, you deserve it." What did I ever do to you for you to say that he deserves it? You know what? I really, when Matt got out of that room and Pat and Fane was sitting there looking, he was like, "Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be long." And he saw that Matt didn't touch the dagger. His whole demeanor changed. I don't think we've ever seen Pat and Fane running scared in these 2 seasons. That was so satisfying to watch. It was so
guards.
It would have been even better if we would have seen Matt kick his ass a little bit, but that's okay. We still got we still got a couple of other seasons. It can come.
Mike is
That was
right.
so satisfying.
Guards.
Right.
That
Because
was awesome.
he was like, "What?" Matt said, I've been locked up my fair share this year, and if it's one thing I've learned is that there are more than one way to skin a cat. He was like, I'm not the one, I'm not the two either. Killed the guard, then took off running. I was like, okay, we get to see a little bit of, some smarts from Matt, and then the rest of the episode, I was just cheering for him. Because he runs out, he runs into Perrin, they see each other, he finds out that Egwene is there, Perrin finds out that Rand is alive, and it's like all the things start falling into place. They have the Horn of Valyr, which, okay, before we move on with this, damn it, I drank all my drink. I was gonna say we gotta pull one out for Ingtar, because when I say Domenico went out like a G,
like a G, for real.
He was like, I'll hold them off while y'all get the Horn of Rand. And he was fighting several of them. See, what they were doing with him, that's what they should have been doing with Lan. Because they were coming at him all at once. And that's how they ended up getting him. Because 2 of them stabbed him in the back at the same time. Mm-hmm. But it's so funny because when Matt runs into Perrin and Loyal and they're with the Aiel women and Matt is, hey, Perrin, my old friend, yay, I'm so glad to see you. Who are these people? And Perrin is like, they're friends. And then here come the soldiers chasing after Matt. He was like, I hope your friends can fight. They were like, hold my beer. And then all of a sudden you see shoomp, shoomp, shoomp. And Masane was already pissed off because he was like, first of all, y'all got us here in the first place. Second, my boy Ingtar just got killed by y'all. I'm about to come whip y'all's ass. So you see all these people fighting. And it was so glorious. And then, of course, like I said, they were talking about the horn. And Matt's like, oh, you need to open the box? Well, guess what? I have a special dagger.
I have the key.
I have the key.
Exactly.
Loyal is like, oh, yeah, that'll work. How do you know, bruh?
Right. Now, this is the thing that I love.
Everything.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. Before all of this, when they're trying to plan their escape, Ingtar is like, we have the Horn of Valyr. We need to get it to Rand. And Loyal says, Ingtar said, the horn is the key. It summons all of the warriors from heroes from
the Age of Legends.
And that's going to be key to the dragon winning the battle. And Loyal was like, but we're here now. We're the heroes of now. We are the heroes of another generation's legend. We need to start acting like it. I was like, L'Oreal is the MVP of this episode because he was like, look, pull your head out your ass. We got this, but
Mhm.
we have to act. But of course, Ingtar dies.
I have expected to see him again when after Matt blew the horn next to Uno.
That
Mhm.
would have been
I
cool. That would have been cool. But okay, let's get to Matt blowing this horn. Because, like I said, I've watched this episode now 4, maybe 5 times. And every single time when it gets to that point, I am bawling like a fucking baby because I'm like, Matt is getting his moment. He takes the horn, he's trying to get the horn to Rand, and he's got the Seanchan soldiers in front of him, and he can't get further. And he just looks and he blows the horn. And when he blows the horn, everybody literally stops or they're moving in very, very slow motion. And then you see the heroes, their ghosts appear behind him. And he says, I remember. I remember when he said that. That was the moment I lost it because I was like, what are you remembering? What are you remembering? And he was like, I was a hero of the horn too. And then the one soldier said, I have fought by your times. I have fought by your side many times. I was
Thousand
so happy.
times. Yeah.
I was so happy because that's when you realize, like Anthony said, Ishamael is the father of lies. He only showed Matt what he needed to show him in order to make Matt doubt himself. But the rest of that time, Matt was a hero. And you have all these other warriors behind him, including Uno, who are all heroes of the horn. And they're like, come on, we got this. He turns around, he gives the little charge, whatever he says in whatever language that is. Then he starts working that bow staff. I'm sitting in my living room like, I'm like losing it. I'm losing my shit. I am screaming. I remember the first time I watched this, my son actually came downstairs. He was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was so happy because we've had 2 seasons of Matt being kind of trounced on, downplayed, ignored, kind of being like the least respected, least important, least loved member of the Two Rivers crew. And he's like one of the powerful. And it was just so happy to see him have his moments.
yeah.
Like I have goosebumps now talking about it. It was just so satisfying.
I'm not going to butcher what he says in the old tongue, but it basically means it's time to roll the dice
Mm,
because, in the book, he's a gambler who hardly ever loses.
yeah.
And in the book, there's this thing where he can feel the dice rolling in his head when he's about to do something, and his Tavini
I
nature
remember you
is going
mentioning
to,
that. Okay.
yeah, is going to kind of make his luck happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's what he says. It's time to roll the dice.
Man, let me tell you, it was so satisfying. And I think in that moment, you really get to see the fullness of Matt's personality and who he is and who he's
Mhm.
supposed to be. You get to see all of that come out. Like once he has that moment where it clicks in his head that, oh, I'm not just this loser that just hangs around with my, better friends. I'm important too. And I always has been. It was just the most satisfying part of this entire episode. I mean,
Yeah.
above everything else, I think that was the moment that is my favorite, probably
All,
out of both seasons.
all the way back to when Moiraine was telling the story of Manethrin and what happened at Manethrin. That's where the Two Rivers is now. That there's a reason why the the most powerful channelers of this age are all from there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone as special as Perrin, being a wolf brother, is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Matt. And, if I remember correctly, Matt is the one who has the most Manethrin blood in him.
Okay.
He's special.
Okay.
You can see his whole demeanor change, his posture change. you see the air of confidence just come over him. It is
Mm-hmm.
so different. And I'm going to give this actor a lot of credit to be
Yes.
able to make that physical change as
Yes.
well.
Him going from that kind of feeling like a loser to the confident person, and then for us to see him lose it again after he goes to the tower, he sees, Rand being shielded, and Ishamael being there, kind of taunting him or whatever. Mat sees them. He sees an opportunity. He throws the spear that he has made with the dagger at Ishamael, but of course, Ishamael is an illusion. We find this out because the spear goes straight through him and into Rand, and hence here is the so-called vision of Mat killing Rand with the dagger, but not quite in the way that men saw it. And you just kind of see Mat deflated because he's like, oh shit, I did this. Oh my God. Oh brother, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Mat's whole transformation in this entire episode, like, was so satisfying to watch. But not even just that, just the way that you see all of our Two Rivers people kind of getting their glow up in this episode, because you see Rand kind of embracing a little bit more who he is. Because at this point, he's like, okay, look, I'm the Dragon Reborn. I have to go claim myself. And then you see Egwene and what she's going through, and this pisses him off. He has no qualms about using the one power at that point. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm about to kill y'all and go figure out how to save her. Of course, Egwene is having her own kind of revelation up here on the tower, because she's there as a Damani. She's there supposed to be, like I said, she's supposed to be helping with the battle. She's already hesitant. And they're already peeping. They're like, Renna, you can't control your Damani. Because she tells her she kind of looks defiant at first. Then, of course, she sees the white cloaks down in the town. She attacks them. And again, here go Renna with the one sentence. You could have kept this shit. Good girl. Good girl. Like, you talking to a dog. I was like, kill her. Just kill her already. But I didn't have to wait too long, because Egwene stops attacking. She turns around. She spits her little gag out in front of everybody. So everybody knows that Renna doesn't have control of her Damani. So, of course, she's about to make an example of Egwene. Egwene is sitting there on her knees with her hands out, and Renna is about to take her tongue. And they are attacked with stones and arrows, and there's an explosion. And Egwene and Renna are the only two people who survived the explosion, of course. But Egwene comes to first, and when she gets out of the rubble, she comes across a Damani who dies. And of course, when they die, their Adam releases from their body. Then you see Renna get up, and she's looking around. She's seeing the destruction. Then she's looking at Egwene, and she was like, you were part of this. Like, she was really blaming Egwene for them being attacked in the tower. She was like, this was coming from the town. You knew about this. This is your fault. Egwene is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. She gets ready to almost like hit Renna, I think. No. Renna uses her cuff to kind of, bring Egwene down to her knees. And Egwene, I don't know how she didn't pay attention to this, because I think I would have noticed if somebody who didn't usually wear an arm cuff had an arm cuff all of a sudden, because even the way Egwene was holding herself, she was hiding that right side, but you could still kind of see the top part of the cuff. But anyway, when Renna does that, she puts the Adam on Renna, and Renna is like, stupid Egwene. The collars only work on women who can channel. And Egwene is like, yeah, I know. And then all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
see the Adom take form. And Egwene said, yeah, I had to sit here and try to figure out why we were linked. And I thought it was something like the water bomb, but no, she said, you Suldam, you guys can channel too. It's just that you are so weak in the power that the other Damani didn't pick it up. And Rena's like, no, they can't be. And she was like, yeah, you and I are the same. And you see it because Egwene is able to use the cuff to put Rena on the wall and choke her, kind of similar to the way she did her. But she was like, but you're still my Damani. You still have to do what I say. Egwene was like, okay, and I'm yours, you're mine. If this is how we got to end it, this is how we got to end it. Because she's like, you can't hurt me without hurting yourself. And Egwene is literally sitting there like, okay, but I would rather die than continue to be your slave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a battle of wills.
And let me tell you, Rena lost because she disengaged her cuff. The Adom falls off of Egwene, and she was like, okay, so use it. She's like, let me go. And Egwene just sitting there looking at her. I was like, Egwene, if you let her down, like, I know it's wrong for us to wish for death, but these are fictional characters, so I don't feel bad about it. I was like, die, bitch, die.
This is why people don't want to walk in people's shoes, because they can't handle it.
No.
And
you couldn't handle it for 2 minutes.
You've been doing that crap to Egwene for how long?
Right.
And you couldn't handle it.
Probably weeks at this point.
Yeah. You couldn't handle it for 2 minutes.
No. Just like the other chick with Nynaeve.
Oh, she was done. As soon as Nynaeve put it on, oh, take it off. Take it off.
I don't want them to see me like this.
It was like Gollum when they had wrapped Gollum up in the room. Take it off. It burns.
Right.
It burns.
But she literally, she lets Rena hang. Rena dies. And then, of course, her, all of that comes off. The cuff comes off. Egwene turns around. She sinks to her knees. And then all of a sudden you hear Egwene. And she's like, I know I hear this voice. I know I'm going to see him. But she probably was thinking it was going to be a dream again. She turns around and there's Rand.
Yeah. Okay. Like, before we move forward, quick notes. So they simplified something from the book that in channeling you're born to be like a channeler, or you can learn to channel. And I don't want to confuse y'all too much, but that's something that is a thing in the book. And that's what Egwene figures out. She figures out that the Suldams, they can't necessarily channel, but they're women who can learn to channel.
Okay.
And they simplified it by just saying that they're just really weak. And I do like that change because it does make it a bit more simple and not as complicated.
It's kind of like the difference between being a wizard and a squib, or something similar.
Something similar, yeah. Like, because you can't teach squibs to be wizards,
right?
But imagine if you could teach them to do it, and that's what Suldams are. You don't see them like they don't glow with the ability to channel, but they have the ability to learn how to channel.
And they can see the weaves, and that's how Egwene figured it out, because she was like, "Yeah, I realized you can see the weaves."
Right, right.
So,
and that was probably through practice, being able to see the weaves.
Yeah, but either way it goes, Rena is dead. I'm so glad, because I was like, that bitch needs it.
Yeah.
I was ready for
that. You just knew Egwene thought that ran. I was fully expecting him to say, "No, I'm real. I'm actually here," but I guess they didn't have to say it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and he does apologize to her. He was like, "Look, I know I should have told you, but I thought it was better this way." And she's just still looking at him like he's alive. He's right in front of me. They get ready to leave, and this is when they're confronted by Ishamael. Of course, she tries to use the one power against him, but he kind of knocks her out. He knocks Rand to his knees, and then, like I said, the demonic out on the ocean, they are they're channeling to shield him. So there's this big confrontation, and then again, Matt comes up, sees them talking, throws a spear. He ends up hitting Rand. So he's over there with Rand, and Ishamael is about to, I don't know what he's about to do, send up a signal so that they can gentle Rand or whatever.
Yeah.
But he gets ready to walk towards them, and he throws like some power, and it's shielded. He was like, how did you do this? Because he was thinking Rand did it. And he was like, how did you do that? And then here comes Egwene. Egwene is pissed. I was like, oh, he about to get the full fledged of her power. And when I say I was so surprised, because I know, Anthony, you kind of gave us a little bit of a, not necessarily a spoiler a couple of episodes ago, but you did say that Egwene ends up being one of the people who can kind of hold her own with the Forsaken. And she demonstrates this very much on this particular scene, because she's holding up a shield and Ishamael is throwing everything he can at it, and the shield is holding.
Yeah. Well, they keep telling us over and over again, Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elayne are the three most powerful channelers we've seen in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they don't say that the whole 1,000 years
I know,
thing,
but
except for with Nynaeve. But
I'm
yeah.
Like Elayne is the strongest novice they've had in the tower. Right. Nynaeve and Egwene are two of the strongest channels they've ever seen, and Nynaeve is probably the strongest in 1,000 years. So they're clearly telling us that Elayne, Nynaeve, and Egwene are extremely powerful. They just don't know how to. They just don't really know anything yet.
Yeah.
But thanks to Egwene's training as a Damani, she knows some stuff now.
Yeah.
She has learned some things. And she threw that shield up pretty freaking quickly.
Quick, yes.
When she whipped her dress back, she stood in front of it, she was like, Wah!
I was like, okay, you done pissed her off now. I mean, and there's these moments where you see it with all of them. Like I said, with Rand, it was when he saw Egwene walking and she had the ball gag in her mouth. You could see his face change, like, oh, you've pissed me off. Perrin, when he saw Hopper die, that was his moment. That was his, oh, you done pissed me off. And then like Masane, when you see Ingtar die, he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm about to whoop some ass. The Aiel women, they didn't need a pissed off. They're just like, oh, we just ready to fight.
They're like the Hulk. They walk around pissed off.
Right. They're like, oh, fight? Yes, let's go. Matt, I think his moment came when Pat and Fane underestimated him. You're sitting here teasing him with this dagger, and you're like, yeah, you're gonna fail and you're gonna do this. And Matt's like, I got something for you. You see it with all of them, like we said earlier in the episode. Nynaeve, you see it with the girl, because she's just like, okay, look, I'm so tired of y'all. I'm so tired of what y'all done to my friends. I'm tired of all of this. Give me my people so I can go home, But you see Egwene with the shield, and then she starts getting weak. She starts getting overpowered. She turns around, she tells Rand, she's like, I'm sorry. And as soon as the shield is about to go down, here comes Perrin with Uno's shield, because of course Uno jumps into the battle at the bottom. When Perrin is trying to work his way to the tower, he looks at Perrin, he was like, don't be surprised that I'm a hero of the Horn. And he gives Perrin his shield. And I was really surprised about that, because I know that they are there, they materialized and they can actually fight. But for him to be able to give his shield to Perrin and Perrin actually be able to use it, I was kind of surprised at that. I was like, oh, that's a very useful skill to be able to do. But then here, like I said, here comes Perrin. Egwene is like, Perrin, hey, I'm here. And Rand is sitting here looking like, oh, there's Egwene, there's Perrin, I got Matt, like, and then he's like, Nynaeve is coming too. Then here comes Nynaeve and Elayne, and I was just like, oh, the band's back together again. Ishamael is about to die. He really is about to die. And in the midst of all this, Elayne, she heals Rand. Speaking of which, that wound looked like what do you call the thing in Star Wars that ate that swallowed?
Oh, the
Yes,
Sarlacc.
That's what Rand's wound looked. It looked like the Sarlacc, or it looked like the little sandworms from Doom. It looked gross. That wound looked like it had teeth. It
That
was
shit was
nasty. It was nasty. But Elayne, she mends it. And again, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. It was just kind of like everybody was doing their part and Nynaeve was just there. It just okay. So what they did for Matt in this episode for this season, they have his come up moment. I need that to happen for Nynaeve in the next season, because stop telling us she's the most powerful channeler in the last 1,000 years if y'all are not going to give us anything.
It might, like I said, it might be a minute because she's just too. They've hyped her up to where she's just too powerful. I mean, people literally believe that she brought Lan back from the dead, like he was on death's door.
He was on death's door.
She brought his ass back to life.
She did.
So
I'm one of those people.
they had to dial her back. They put a cap on her until it's time.
Yeah.
Then they'll pop it open.
Yeah, I guess. But while they're doing all this stuff on the tower, of course, like we said, Moiraine is down on the beach with Lan. They're fighting he's fighting the soldiers. She was disabling, or let's be honest, she was killing the Damane and Lady Suroth and all of them that was on the boats. And then she realizes, the whole prophecy about the dragon will claim himself in banners of fire above Falme, above the watchers. And it's like she has a light bulb moment while she's there. She was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And she channels, she puts that fire going towards the tower, and then the fire that she ignited to the boats also join that fire, and it becomes this big dragon, and it circles the tower, and it lands over Rand. And I was like, okay, this is kind of corny, but it's kind of cool as well.
Listen, let the dragon go tell. Here, I'll make a dragon. It's like she's making like a shadow dragon, like right. I'm here.
But I love the fact that, okay, Rand, yes, he's the dragon reborn. He's on top of the tower. Everybody in Falme is cheering because here's the omen right here. The dragon reborn is here. Yay, things will, I don't know, get fixed. He'll break the wheel. I at this point, I don't know, but everybody's happy at this point. But I love the fact that his friends are there on the tower with him. But it also makes me wonder, because if you think about what has been said about Ishamael and Lanfear and Luz and all of them, like they were really close friends too. And then they ended up turning to the dark. And I know that that's what they were trying to do with Rand and his friends. They were trying to turn everybody else to the dark in order to get Rand to turn to the dark. None of them took the bait. Like none of them. Yeah, they all did some things. They killed. And I will say this too. Perrin made me, I don't know if I should say laugh when I'm describing him killing someone, but the fact that he double tapped, he was so pissed off that dude killed Hopper. He struck him not once, but twice. He struck him in the chest when he was standing up, and then old dude fell on the ground and he struck him again. Like, I just want to make sure you understand how mad I am that you killed my wolf. But Rand is the dragon. His friends are there. Nobody turned to the dark. And then it looks like Lanfear might have some problems on her hands now.
Oh my God. That freaked me out.
What were you about to say, Anthony?
Well, I was going to say Lanfear was trying to get her buddy to take the seals and dump them in the ocean.
Yes, Master Doman. I was like, oh, here you are. Just like, how are you over here? But I forgot. I was like, okay, well, he would be on this side of town. But he was like, Lady Celine, you are a long way from Karian. What you doing here?
No, he's like, why you still here? Our battle is going on.
Right.
This is not a place for a lady like you. She's like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, right. But when
You
she,
see how she been manipulating things behind scenes
yeah,
because they're like, how did you get the horn? Oh, a nice lady from Karen gave us the horn, helped us get the horn. I wonder who helped them get the horn.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Mm.
yep.
So
But
she's just walking around.
yeah, and it's crazy because I look, I forgot to mention when we were talking about the tower and Rand and all them. Oh yeah, Ishamael is dead. Rand definitely did kill him, and he's
He
dead
appears to
dead.
be dead. He
Well,
appears to be dead.
you think he's still, because I felt like the way that they played that scene with him, saying, "Oh, it's beautiful," and Rand was like, "What do you see?" He said nothing, and then he just kind of dusted away like Thanos snapped him. I was like, okay, maybe he's really dead now. But I mean, I guess I kind of feel like that will also be too easy for him. That's too easy.
Yeah, so he has to be dead. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, how I would just say I would think, and this doesn't have anything to do with the books. In the show, Padden Fane is like, how are we going to deal with Lanfear? The Dark One gave her eternal life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't he do the same thing to Ishamael if he's his number one lieutenant?
mm-hmm.
I'm just asking a question. Why would
Yeah,
he
no,
give
because I was
why
gonna
would he
say
give Lanfear? Why would he make her able to come back from the dead, but not Ishamael?
maybe because he knows that Ishamael doesn't want to come back. But
If
yeah,
they've done this an infinite number of times, he
yeah,
keeps coming back. And he keeps saying, he said it several times during the episode. Well, if I mess this one up, I get another chance.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I,
just a shout out to the writers for kind of for making the show their own.
mhm.
Because at the end of the Eye of the World, you guys never asked me what was the Eye of the World, right? Because in the show, the Eye of the World was just a seal, right?
Mhm.
The Eye of the World in the book was actually a pool, a repository of untainted Sidene or Sidar, whatever the man can channel.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a pool of power, of one power for men that was saved, that was not tainted.
Mm.
Also, that was there was the Horn of Valir, and
Okay.
also the dragon banner that Lewis Theron used to go around with, a big banner that had the
Mm.
dragon on it.
Okay.
So the prophecy was that the banner would be flown in Falme, and the dragon would declare himself. So in
Ah.
the book, he has a fight with Ishamael or Baalthamal or whatever his name was. In they have a physical and a metaphysical confrontation where the witnesses, who were the people of Falme, the Seanchan, and the White Cloaks, see him in the sky, see the two of them, the light and the dark, fighting in the literal sky
Mm.
above Falme.
Okay.
And Uno takes the banner, strings it up, and flies the banner. And
Ah.
so it was
Okay.
like, oh my God, it's the dragon reborn.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that is how it happens in the book. So it's interesting that they did it this way because we didn't get the banner being flown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We didn't get the pool of sardine or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a little different, and we didn't get the battle in the sky, which I can tell you a lot of our book fans were hoping to see, but the effects with that would just be too crazy to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it wouldn't really make any sense either.
Yeah.
Now, I would have expected more of a battle between him and Ishamael, but maybe we'll get it later.
Yeah.
And I can see it seems that the girls have gotten a lot more moments than Rand. I mean, Rand this was like the first time we saw Rand do something. When he killed,
Right.
that was the first time. Other than just, you know,
Flashbacks of him
the
using the
flashbacks
channeling.
of him
Yeah.
using the
Using
channeling.
channeling. Yeah.
Um, so we call them hero moments. We didn't really see his hero moments until we saw the flashbacks. Here, he got a hero moment that we got to saw, but then he really doesn't save himself. He doesn't save Egwene. They basically save him.
They all save him. Yeah, I noticed that.
They save him. So I don't know. And I can see why some people who are fans of the book would have an issue with it. Because the battle that he has with Ishamael in the book is supposed to be an epic confrontation. And
maybe we'll get that in the third season. First season, Ishamael kind of, took Rand down, and in this one, Rand kind of took him down. So maybe they were just like, okay, let's just level the playing field before.
But that's how he declares himself dragon. They see this epic battle between the light and the dark in the sky, and he wins, and then they see the dragon banner. Well, no, here he actually doesn't really have a battle with Ishamael. Egwene does.
Right.
And Perrin and Moiraine flies a fire dragon around the building, and I guess they all think, "Oh, he's a dragon." No, I don't know. It doesn't quite feel right.
Okay.
But I guess we'll go with it into season 3.
Well, you're liking season 3 so far. So.
I know they made up for it for the most part. But watching this episode again, it called as many good moments as it had. It reminded me of why there was so much of the show I didn't like.
Okay.
There was so much of the show I didn't like, and a lot of it had to do with, like Mike picks up on, is all the stuff with Rand is just bothersome. The character is bothersome. The things he does or doesn't do is irritating. Nynaeve, everything with her is irritating. The change they made in Matt is irritating. And it's almost as if they tried to fix some of those things in this last episode.
Okay.
They tried to fix it all at one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Mike feels that way, but it's like a lot of the characters that we didn't like and had issues with, they tried to make us like them in the last episode. Except Nynaeve.
Yeah.
She's the only one. Yeah. I mean, they made a good job of making Rand seem strong. They finally gave Matt a purpose, and it's like, but poor Nynaeve is in the heat of it. She can't do anything about it. But enough of that. Okay, tell us about the little creepy girl who put Lanfear in a web and scared shit out of her.
Right, because Lanfear, she was trying to play that hard role. But who is this? Yeah, who is this creepy girl at the end?
Morgedian, one of the Forsaken. Another one, the spider.
She seemed like she gonna be a problem for Lanfear. Or is she gonna be a problem for everybody?
Everybody.
Remember, everybody had all of the Aes Sedai who became Forsaken had their reasons for returning to the dark, and some of them not so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them not so good.
Because the way Lanfear looked when she walked into Ishamael's room and she looked and saw I guess that those were the prisons, when she saw them broken, her face was like, oh shit. And then when she realized old girl was sitting in the chair, it's almost like she kind of tried to collect herself and be, the fearless Lanfear, but no, that girl made Lanfear feel the last part of her name a lot, because she was like, yeah, Ishamael knew you were going to betray him, so he let us out early. And she was like, where are the rest of the Forsaken? I don't know. I was just like, oh, this is not good, because not only did he let them out, we don't know where they are. They could be doing
yeah. Yeah, they're going to be wreaking havoc all over the place.
No,
that's what that's what
But
that's
you know,
what keeps me.
Lanfear, Moraine did kind of hint at it earlier because he was like, "Well, why did he let Lanfear out?" Well, and not the others because they're all dangerous, and they fought amongst each other more than they fought Luz Theron.
Right.
Because they were always vying for
Power. Yeah.
in position.
Yeah.
And
And the other thing she mentioned was she said everything that she could find out basically tells her that Luz Theron, Lanfear, and Ishamael were all best friends. Like they were inseparable. And Lan was like, just like these 5 kids. And Moiraine was like, yep. I was like, okay.
He's just like her, like just playing with these spider webs and just saying softly, softly through the shadows. That's what you used to say about me. I was like, oh God, no. I was expecting her to like start crawling through my phone when I was watching it at work. I was like, nah, nope.
The thing about Megideon is she's probably the weakest of the Forsaken, but she might be the most dangerous.
Because that bitch is scary.
No, let me rephrase.
What was it she was saying? She was like,
is
softly from the shadows. I was like, just the voice alone.
I will say she is the most dangerous of the Forsaken. The weakest, but the most dangerous.
And she told Lanfear, she was like, leave him alone. He's ours now. I was like, oh. And then what was it Lanfear said? She was like, light be with you, Rand. Yeah, he looks like he might need it because
I don't know what their motivation is going to be in the show, but we know that whatchamacallit is motivation. Ishamael, he wants to break the wheel because he wants to end the suffering. I think the only reason why the others want Rand is because they're trying to gain favor with the Dark One. They don't care about breaking the wheel. They just want the number 1 position. And whoever can deliver Rand will get the number 1 position.
Okay.
So I think if it's similar to the book, that motivation is kind of different.
Okay.
So, okay. So just to be clear, the Dark One, his goal is to break the wheel, meaning that everything that they've been cycling over the last several thousand years, he wants it to stop. He wants
the Dark One wants to be free of his prison.
Oh, okay. So who?
Ishamael wants to break the wheel.
He wants to break the wheel because he's tired of doing the same thing over and over again. But the Dark One is trying to get out of his prison. Okay. And so the dragon.
Well, I guess get out of prison so he can. I guess he also wants to break the wheel, but for a different reason.
Okay.
The Dark One wants to destroy the wheel the Dark One is chaos. The wheel is order.
Oh, okay. Does
that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And so the Dragon Reborn is basically he's the tipping scale. He can go this way or he can go that way.
Yeah.
But it just all depends on the character of whoever the dragon is in whatever particular lifetime that he comes around. Okay. So either
generally speaking, yes.
So the way that this is going, either Rand will keep to the light, hopefully with the help of his friends, or he'll go to the dark and either become enemies with his friends or his friends will also go to the dark. Those are kind of like the options.
Sure.
I'm just trying to figure out because obviously one of the themes in this show is about friendship because you know we hear them talk about it with Lanfear, Ishamael, and the Dark One, and you kind of even see with this one like, okay, so Lanfear and Ishamael, they looked like they were close. They had a very strong connection, and yet she still betrayed him for Rand or for Luz, however you want to look at it. So it's kind of like, okay. So what's going to happen with these friends? Are they all going to stick together? Will there be things that end up dividing them? And it's just kind of interesting to kind of think of where this might go. And again, with all of the stuff that goes on in the Wheel of Time, there's still a lot for me to learn. So I don't know all the ins and outs and how the story's
I
supposed
will
to go.
say all of the above and none of the above.
Okay.
Great.
That's how all that works out. All of the above and none of the above. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, just with this show, just don't try to theorize anything. Don't try to guess anything. Just kind of,
just go with it.
Just go with the flow. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have experienced this before in Harry Potter. Because what kept Harry Potter from when was it the Order of the Phoenix when Voldemort was trying to take him over? And what's the difference between him and Voldemort?
Yeah, he has friends. He has a support system.
Right.
And he has people who love him.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And this is a very similar idea with how Rand is in the Wheel of Time.
Okay.
I will say they happily follow him. That especially Perrin, they don't happily follow him at some point, but they do. It is his Tavarian nature and their Tavarian nature, sort of, and the fact that they grew up together, it pulls them together.
Okay. Yeah. And then there's Elayne, and I'm just kind of wondering how she's going to fit in all this, but I'm not going to ask because I already see your face. Your face is already giving it away. And then you're going to take a sip. So, okay.
You see my name. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
No spoilers. Okay.
I'm really trying.
Did we skip anything in this episode? I think we talked about it all.
Yeah, because I think the plan Ishamael did say the plan was to get him to turn by showing that his choices are making his friends turn.
Yeah.
And the only way to save them is to turn.
Yeah. And technically speaking, I guess if you want to look at it technically, I guess you could say Egwene has taken a step because she has killed someone. Perrin has taken a step because he has killed someone. Perrin done killed a lot of people, but as far as like willingly killing people.
Yeah, but it seems like you're doing the Ishamael thing. You're kind of twisting the truth.
No, I'm not saying that they're turning towards the dark. But what I'm saying is, if you think about what most people would consider being dark or a dark,
right,
an action that could make a person turn dark. Right. Those are things that could start the process. And I mean, Ishamael even says something similar to Rand. He was like, what about her? You left her, you abandoned her, you made her kill her.
A murder. Yeah. And he's also already told Matt that, look at you, you're already a killer and a murderer. You're dark. Who would even want you?
Yeah.
He's already done that to Matt. He's already told Perrin, you don't really care about anything, do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's trying to intentionally push them all in to make them think they're going to that side.
Right. But okay, I will say this too. I did notice at the end of the episode when all five of them are up on the tower after everything has happened, Rand has basically, been proclaimed as the dragon. I did notice that Perrin's eyes looked like the wolf eyes and not his regular eyes, which is interesting because usually that only comes out.
He's not a werewolf.
I know. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
guys, werewolves.
I'm
Yes.
not the one you have to convince of that. But I was just thinking about the fact that Ishamael had said that when Perrin gets to Falme, he'll be more wolf than man. And you notice that, like I said, usually his eyes are just the regular dark eyes. But then I guess, and I got to go back and look and see if it was like that consistently from the time Hopper died. But I just thought it was interesting that they were in a period of, at this point, calm because Ishamael had died. There was no more fighting. Rand has just been proclaimed. Like they were actually just kind of chilling on the tower at that moment, looking at everybody cheering, and Perrin's eyes are gold. I just thought that was very interesting. So yeah, I know he's not a werewolf. I'm not the one who keeps proclaiming werewolf.
I mean, he's done everything but be hairy. So I mean,
You
I
really?
guess
Have you
that's.
seen his hair?
I mean, all over hairy, like like
Yeah.
all up in here.
Yeah, no transformations that we have seen. So okay. Mike, I'm sure you have some shout outs for this final episode of the season.
Yeah, shout out to Salden's assistant who's like, oh, he's dead. Oh fuck, and kills himself, kills him or herself.
Oh
Oh,
goodness.
Tarak's voice.
Yeah,
Tarak's voice, yeah.
What was it that he said? He said, from birth to death, I
Something like
serve
that.
yeah. I was just like, dude, you could have just,
no,
but
I'm not
I guess.
serving. Nope, sir. But like services ended. Yeah, I'll say the benediction. Like God be with you. I'm out. I ain't doing all
Mm.
that. Um, Shout out to who else was
She's
I going to shout
dying in the background. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
out? um, yeah, I don't think I have any other shout outs. This was by far of the series since I haven't seen three yet. But so far, this has been the best episode to me, like of the whole series. I think. I
Yeah.
think Lena, like of the two seasons, this was a great one, and I think that going forward, this is definitely going to be. Is it? I mean, I think they've, like Anthony said, they've kind of done. They're doing their own thing now with the show, as as opposed to trying to stay completely faithful to the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it could be good, could be bad, but I mean, so far, I mean, I definitely like the arc that they've changed a few people, like especially Matt Cawthon, since I am now the president of his fan club. I can't wait to see what else they do with him. I'm I'm more amenable to Rand because I think that they've done a lot more to round his character to like kind of give him like he just seems better now for some reason. Like to me, like I feel like he's a better character now. I mean, I'll probably change my mind once they start walking again and something else happens. I was gonna be like, here we go again with the whining and the pining and all this other stuff. I mean, but yeah, I liked Ryan in this episode. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, and the episodes don't seem as long as the first episode of the season did. And I'm happy about that.
This episode had a shorter runtime than all the other episodes.
I'm glad they cut that shit down.
It did.
I'm really happy about that.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was very action packed, so it didn't feel like a short episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but so we're finally done with season 2. Like Anthony
Yay.
said, thank you to all the listeners who have stuck with us in this very late review. We promised we would try to stay on top of it for the next season. Season 3 has already started. There, what is it? 5 episodes
5.
already. So,
Buckle up, Buttercup.
yeah. I think one of our new listeners on YouTube said the same thing. Said, "Oh, I can't wait till y'all get to season 3, especially episode 4,
Episode 4.
which is
Mm-hmm.
which is the episode that you said kind of changed the trajectory of your thinking, right?"
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
They're like 3 or 4 people already who talked about episode 4. Like that shit changes everything. Like
Yeah.
crazy.
Changes everything. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel. And you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.